Ms. Legalista, aka Attorney Sheila here. I want to talk a little bit about this realtors jury decision that just came out against the realtors, Keller Williams, and some other entities in the amount of, let me get this straight, and I should put on my glasses really, $1.78 billion. How did we get to this point? Well, let me give you a little background on myself first. I used to be a former real estate broker. I also used to handle real estate transactions as an attorney, and I've also purchased and sold homes. So I've been in all of these different positions. Real estate brokers in the area that I live in, those of us who were members of the National Association of Realtors, of course, use their forms, followed their guidelines. And some of these policies included how we paid commissions to buyers brokers. So if I was a seller's broker representing a seller, I would list the property for the broker. I put signs in the yards, look for ways to advertise the property, maybe have open houses so that people could come by. And in the information that I would put out there on the MLS and maybe on handouts that people could pick up from the property, it would sometimes say, what the fee was going to be to the other party. So think of it this way. If someone comes to hire me as an attorney, right, and they're going to sue somebody else, guess what? They only pay me, right? They don't jump over to the other side and say, hey, well, Sheila, I'm hiring you, but I'm going to pay you and the other party's attorney. Nobody does that. But in the real estate industry, that's how things were set up. And this is basically, very generally speaking, okay, what a lot of this was about. This was about, hey, sellers paying real estate brokers who then would automatically say, hey, we're going to split that with the buyer's agent or broker. And in some cases, the buyer might not even have a broker. In that case, this side would keep the entire fee. But there was this sort of sharing arrangement out there. Well, this was somewhat anti competitive. At least this is what was being argued in the complaint. It was said, hey, you're not giving people some sort of way to negotiate this, and you're all conspiring together to set these rates. And that's at a very basic level what this was really about. So the jury came back with a decision, $1.78 billion. Now, the judge can look at treble damages. In other words, the judge can take that and say, we're going to multiply that by 3, and now you owe over $5 billion. So there's some conversation about the Realtors Association. I think the National Association of Realtors is looking at possibly appealing this decision. But let me know your thoughts on this, because I think this is very tricky. I've thought that maybe a better practice would be having a flat fee for the kinds of services that you want. So if you want to walk in and have a real estate broker work with you, you get to say, hey, I want full service brokerage services. Okay. Everything that you offer. If I'm selling my house, I want you to have an open house. I want you to run ads. I want it on the MLS. I want a separate website. And you can say, here are all of the things I expect to have. You're going to help me with setting up the appraiser and the surveyor and the real estate attorney. And you might even work with me on some first time home buyers programs. So, putting information together so that when the buyer comes in, you've maybe got information for them about that. And so you're putting together this whole package so that anybody who's interested in your seller's house can walk in and say, oh, well, not only do I like the house, but look at how easy this process is. They've got all of this great information already ready here for me. Okay. On the buyer side, you can do the same thing and say, hey, I want the full range of services, or nah, I just want you to maybe get me a listing of all of the properties that are available in this area. But think about that. You can actually go online now to Zillow or Redfin and get all of that information yourself. So there's this whole sort of concern about who's been paying for what, and is it too much money? Because the argument here is that had the parties been able to negotiate, that consumers would have been paying less. So would you still have paid full service for having a broker represent you who is going to provide you with the same services, but your house is being sold for 250, and now maybe you come back a year later and you've got a more expensive house and it's 2.5 million, and they want the same percent for the same services. So they're going to get a whole lot more money because it's percent based. So this is a lot of what was going on in the industry. Let me know in the comments how you feel about this. Do you think they were acting as a cartel? That's actually one of the terms that was used in the complaint. This was a real estate cartel. They were conspiring together to keep the commission fees high for themselves. And they kept this sort of arrangement in place with their policies and procedures that you had to follow if you were a member of these organizations. So that's pretty much it. That sort of sums it up. I think there may be an appeal here. There may be some settlements here. I don't know. We're going to see how this pans out. And I think the really big deal is, how is this going to change in the industry? What is this going to look like a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now? Will we actually see a change in the market from this percent-based commission to more flat fee arrangements that are based on the services that are actually provided? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Mwah. Peace.